Welcome once again to another edition of Hude Progress Report. As usual, we're here to shine a light on some of the efforts being made in the humanitarian and development space. As always, I am Amadine Ubewe. Welcome to the program.
And I'm Hannah Mokafe Dennis. Good morning in this very progressive morning.
And also we have with us here Paul Oladipo to help us break things down. Hello, Paul.
Hi, good morning. Hi, Anna. Hi, Mandy. How are you guys doing?
Good. It's good. We're burning with anticipation to get ready into what the different partners and stakeholders are doing to ensure sustainable development. So let's go straight into it. To our first news item of the day. Now, the world has made significant strides in providing basic access to electricity, with nearly 92% of the global population now connected, according to the Tracking SDG 7, the Energy Progress Report 2025, released. This marks an improvement since 2022, which saw the first decade-long decrease in people lacking basic access. However, a staggering 666 million individuals still live without electricity, indicating that the current pace is insufficient to achieve universal access by the 2030 targets. Progress in clean cooking access is also lagging behind pre-pandemic rates, hampered by recent energy price shocks and debt crisis, with 2.1 billion people still relying on polluting fuels. The report emphasizes the critical role of distributed renewable energy solutions, such as mini-grids and off-grid solar systems, in bridging the remaining access gaps. These cost-effective and rapidly scalable decentralized technologies are particularly vital for reaching the unconnected populations predominantly residing in remote, lower-income, and fragile areas. Similarly, decentralized solutions like household biogas plants and mini-grids facilitating electric cooking are essential to provide clean cooking access for the estimated 1.5 billion rural inhabitants who lack it, thereby mitigating severe health impacts from household air pollution. Despite these challenges, the report highlights notable progress in certain indicators. International financial flows supporting clean energy in developing countries rose for the third consecutive year, reaching $21.6 billion in 2023. Installed renewable capacity per capita also saw a continuous increase, hitting a new high of 341 watts per capita in developing nations. However, stark regional disparities persist, with sub-Saharan Africa lagging significantly. The region accounts for 85% of the global population without electricity access and 4 out of 5 families without clean cooking, with the number of people lacking clean cooking access growing by 14 million annually. The primary impediment to accelerating progress and addressing regional inequalities is identified as insufficient and unaffordable financing. To avoid further setbacks and build on existing achievements, the report urgently calls for strengthened international cooperation between public and private sectors. Key recommendations include scaling up financial support for developing countries, particularly in sub-Saharan Africa, through reforms in multilateral and bilateral lending, increased concessional finance, grants, and risk mitigation instruments, alongside improved risk tolerance among donors and appropriate national energy planning. Well, there's good news, and there's also news that we need to do more. Particularly for me, taking it to solutions once again. As we've seen, even in places like Rwanda and Nigeria, there's an upsurge in off-grid and mini-grid systems. And, like we've also spoken about here on the program, how these are meant to be solutions that are also killing two birds with one stone. You're giving people power, people, institutions, and at the same time, you are doing it in a way that is beneficial or is healthy for the environment, because it's one thing to give people power, knowing that in the long run, they will pay for it environmentally, health-wise, as a whole, with climate change and all of that. So for me, I think for one of the key takeaways is the fact that these off-grid and mini-grid systems are working, and they're working well. In Nigeria, we have a number of examples with the REA, the Rural Electrification Agency, having works done in the EEP, where they are energizing education. A number of university campuses now have solar-powered mini-grid systems that, or off-grid systems, helping students, helping innovation, because you have the departments like engineering and all of that also need power or have high power requirements that helps them innovate as well. In the long run, these innovations will come into the market, enter the industry, and it's all better for everybody. And you are doing this with clean energy that doesn't have any effect. So I think these are the takeaways for me that are really important, alongside some other things, some other solutions, public-private partnerships, all necessary when it comes to energy. So that report is one that is enough for people to pat themselves on the back, but to also know that there's more to be done, particularly in sub-Saharan Africa.
Yeah, my own very key takeaway from this particular report is that it is bringing money to people. It's improving their livelihoods, because solar is now a business a lot of people are being involved in. Now, if you're being involved in solar, it means you're going to get a lot of money from it. It means you're going to get things from it. So when it comes to clean energy, we're not just talking about how important it is to the environment, but we're also talking about how important to the people who are living in that particular environment. So we have light. What do we do with the light? Do we have better clean water? Do we have access to watching programs on TV that will help innovate our minds, grow our children, teach them how to relate with other people in other countries via the television, because they have access to light and everything. So this is a very good, way for me. It's a very good improvement.
I mean, it's really great to see how the numbers have reduced from around 2023, it is around about 900 million persons that were not connected to electricity, that didn't have access to basic electricity. And now we're seeing the numbers reduced down to 666 million people, persons without access to electricity. So in coming years, I think this report is just to wake us up, all that we need to work more. And the report also highlighted sub-Saharan Africa specifically, as most of communities in sub-Saharan Africa are yet to be connected to electricity. And again, with the large numbers here, I see it as an opportunity, because instead of connecting these persons to electricity sources where are not good for are not green, are not good for the environment, can rather just create systems that are green and also sustainable, to help all of these 666 million people get connected to basic electricity. And it's that simple. And let's take a look at our verified voices quickly on this particular one. I think this is from World Bank, stating what already has been said. Yeah, it's been a wonderful drive so far, talking about all of these things that were saying, trying to get people connected to electricity. It says that global electricity access reached 92% in 2023, with 19 million fewer people without electricity. However, 666 million people lack electricity, with 85% living in sub-Saharan Africa. You can find out more right there at the Tracking SDG 7 reports. Also, there's the infographics there that says in 2023, global access to electricity increased to 92%. While this means 19 million fewer people without electricity compared to the previous year, 666 million people are still without power. And the goal here is to get all of these people back to having power, and we'll be expecting so much from them very soon, and we'll be seeing so many changes in our environment. I mean, once there's electricity in some regions, we expect boost in economy, expect more jobs to be created, expect more innovation, just like you have mentioned, Amajin. And then with this, we'll see growth, the inclusive growth that we're all talking about and that we've all been craving for.
Yeah. I mean, one of the great things about infographics like that, or that kind of give you the information in bite-sized forms, is it helps you examine the numbers. 666 million is a lot.
Compared.
Yeah, but the fact that between moving from the year before to this one, 19 million people have moved away.
Yes.
So that number is probably even higher. So 19 million people less or fewer this year, or for the year in review, than the previous year. That means they moved from perhaps not having access to having access. And I think again, the concept or why we speak here is to encourage people. Yes, it might seem small compared to 666 million.
I feel it's big though.
It is. If you imagine sustaining that, and what I've seen, particularly when we're talking about progress reports, when it comes to renewable energy, there's usually more of a positivity surrounding it. There's still issues, of course, but we get to see a lot. Nigeria from 2014 to 2023 was a drastic increase. It might not be high, but the increase is there. So I think we should also look at those 19 million and say kudos to everyone involved, and we hope that we push it on. So now we will go on a short break. When we return, we'll move to our next news item. Don't go anywhere.
Into that particular report from the good news I would just received, because I choose to see it as good news. In a significant move to combat global land degradation, 39 grassroots organizations across 22 countries have been awarded a total of $395,000 through the inaugural Small Grants Program of the G20 Global Land Initiative, a flagship initiative of the United Nations Convention to combat desertification. This winning project, selected from over 650 applications spanning more than 100 countries, were recognized for their innovation, impact, and sustainability. The grants, ranging from $5,000 to $15,000, are designed to fuel local efforts that aim to boost economies, enhance food and water security, and strengthen ecosystem resilience. The announcement, live-streamed at a special event, underscored the program's role in achieving the G20 GLI's ambitious mission of reducing degraded land by 50% by 2040. Dr. Murali Tumakurudi, director of the G20 Global Land Initiative, emphasized the importance of supporting smaller actors. He said, "We are aware that these big numbers cannot be achieved by small initiatives alone, yet we feel it is important that tens of thousands of small actors engaged in land restoration around the world be supported, promoted, and recognized." Special priority was given to projects empowering indigenous peoples, youth, women, and the elderly, ensuring that the grants generate measurable progress across global restoration. Priorities such as soil fertility enhancement, forest regeneration, and sustainable agriculture was considered. Beyond the direct restoration efforts, these projects are also significantly enhancing livelihoods, strengthening community climate resilience, and fostering social enterprise and ecopreneurship. 3 of the highest scoring projects, including the Legacy of War Foundation in Rwanda, Up to Green Foundation in India, and Sustainability and Environmental Studies Endeavor in Nepal, was showcased at the UNCCD Conference of the Parties in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia in December 2024, highlighting their potential for replication. Dr. Tumarukudi added that the grants are not just about funding, but about creating a vital network and providing visibility for these impactful initiatives. The G20 Global Land Initiative, launched in 2020 under the Saudi G20 presidency and hosted by the UNCCD, is committed to inclusive and continuous engagement. The Small Grants Program is a key component of his vision to scale land restoration and energize a restoration economy. With the success of this first round, Dr. Tumarukudi confirmed that the program will be an annual process, with a second call for applications opening in 2025, promising increased funding and expanded support for grassroots restoration efforts worldwide. This is something I feel like we should clap, really clap for, because in this day and in this time where we see that climate is constantly going off, when an initiative as huge as this, should I say, profiling good people, people in very, should I say, in lesser countries where they're not really recognized. And yet these people are the ones who are bringing innovations that will ensure that land that is degrading, land that seems to be lacking its nutrients and everything, they are bringing innovation, bringing inclusivity that will generate these things. And this will go a long way to ensure that our economy is boosted in their several countries, in Nepal, in India, because when people have enough food, I don't think that there will be any reason for them to go and start importing other food when their country should I say, excuse me, their country can sustain them. Their country can help them. And in a way, again, is also putting money in their pockets, growing their economy, boosting things around them. What else can we say? This from Saudi Arabia, this is something that is amazing. I say kudos to them.
Indeed. For me, it's part of the growing advocacy we always make, which is that when we're seeking solutions, we should always go down to the grassroots.
Yeah.
And we have these groups who are directly, concerned. They have there's a word, sometimes people use, they have skin in the game. They are not trying to fix something for people they don't know somewhere. It's groups that are focused on reviving, preserving land. We've heard of stories where some desert regions have been able to be transformed into oases.
Yeah.
And sometimes there's a feat, or some people will call it a miracle, but there are ways these things are done. And I think that funding these people or providing support to those who are on the ground floor, on the ground level, is one of the most important ways to get to where you're going. Like I always say, sometimes it seems as though we can have quite a number of conferences, a conference on this or that, and the location of that conference might not always capture what is happening. So if you a conference based on something happening in some far off place, and you are only in the places where you can't really feel the effect, it might not be the same. So even if those conferences should hold, at the end of the day, the resolution should be to go to these places, support the people who are directly there, because they know the problem and they know what works best for them and how they can also turn it into something that also leads to buffering their economy while also fixing their environment.
Land degradation has a lot of things inside it. We're talking about looking at the health of the soil, the fertility of the soil, how forests have been degenerated. I think in one of our previous episodes of Hude, we mentioned how there was this map where how Africa was and how it is now at the moment, and then you saw a large area of it being degraded already. Talking about, and the major thing that we should also need to note in all of this is that with degradation comes loss of grain. We're losing grain land, we're losing our greenery, we're losing our forests that we have, and all of these things are beneficial to us. And that's why it's very important to also preserve them and also ensure that they're protected. And it's really wonderful to see that there are some individuals in some countries that are actually pushing for this, and it is really amazing to see when it comes to sustainable development goals. I think Rwanda is one of those top African countries that always top all of the charts there. And also, it's also nice to see that India also is also doing something as well. And it's not too surprising. I think India is almost like Rwanda in Asia, are topping the chart as well. And really amazing to see all of these things. And also, it's expected that within years, in the next few years, we will see more of their good works that they are doing. And probably they are even able to spread outside their country. And that's what we're expecting in the coming years. Not just spreading across their countries, also to see that other countries as well pick initiative for one or two things that these countries have done, talking about Nepal, India, and also Rwanda. Yeah. And if they can take initiatives from them and do something as such as well in their own country. Let's move on to our verified voices and see what our verified voices are saying right there. This is from the United Nations. They say that every second, the equivalence of 4 football fields of healthy land is lost to degradation. Time is running out. On Tuesday, that's the desertification and drought. They learn why protecting healthy land is essential for present and future generation. And the infographics there goes on to say, restore the land, unlock the opportunities. And I think this infographic is even more detailed because there's a skull of an animal there. And also we can see trees drying up and all of that. This is what it looks like actually. You know, it's not just about human lives. There's also loss of plants, and also loss of animals, loss of livestock, big, small, and all of them.
And even extinction of them.
Exactly.
For me, it was the clock. There's a little clock above there, and it indicates that time is going. You need to move on. You can see it right there.
Yes.
So let's take note of that as well and accelerate action. So we'll go on a quick break. When we return, we delve into our final news item. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to our final news item now. After 7 years of critical support from the Médecins Sans Frontieres, the MSF, health authorities in Ebonyi State, in southeastern Nigeria, are now fully equipped to manage Lassa fever cases, marking a significant victory against the deadly viral hemorrhagic disease. The partnership, which began in early 2018 following a devastating outbreak that overwhelmed hospitals and claimed numerous lives, including 16 healthcare workers at Alex Ekweme Federal University Teaching Hospital in Abakaliki, has transformed the state's capacity to respond. Dr. Nnenya Anthony Ajayi, the then head of clinical services at the hospital's virology unit, recalled the panic. MSF's intervention was comprehensive, according to her. Also speaking, Alain Gottfried Indikundavi, MSF's recent project coordinator, stated their objective was to reverse the trend and reinforce the hospital's capacity. He said that it involved building triage and observation areas, distributing personal protective equipment, implementing robust infection prevention and control systems, and delivering over 230 training sessions for staff. Dr. Ajayi lauded MSF's impact. And between 2018 and 2024, MSF supported the treatment of 1,701 suspected and 427 confirmed Lassa fever cases, dramatically reducing fatalities, particularly among medical personnel. Recognizing that the fight against Lassa fever extended beyond hospital walls, MSF also mobilized health promotion teams, conducting over 4,500 education sessions and nearly 1,300 community visits to demystify the disease and encourage early care seeking. Furthermore, MSF supported 2 rural clinics, providing training, lab equipment, and essential supplies to strengthen community-level detection. This holistic approach laid the groundwork for a sustainable, locally led response, culminating in MSF formally handing over operations to the Ebonyi State Ministry of Health and the hospital in 2025, ensuring continuity with donations of equipment and supply. Today, the hospital stands transformed with healthcare workers operating and patients receiving dignified care. While the fight continues with 24 confirmed cases and 1 staff death in 2024, a tragic but stark improvement from 2018, the fear has largely dissipated. This transition serves as a testament to the power of targeted international collaboration in building resilient local health systems. I think that final statement there pretty much does it. Collaborations and how the collaborations should be goal-driven, as far as I'm concerned. We don't want a situation where aid or help or support continues indefinitely. We want something where the people on the ground are able to learn, build capacity, and maintain a process, even after those who, at the time, were more well-equipped have moved on. So I think that's the lesson to learn here, and seeing how Ebonyi State, the hospitals, will continue to manage the outbreaks and how to handle this particular one. And going forward, we'll see how they continue. And we hope that the support is not, drastically cut short. Even though you are pulling out in a certain way, there are still little things to sustain the support so that it continues way after you are gone. So MSF have done well, and handing over to Ebonyi State, let's hope they take it on and the people get better care.
Yeah, I believe that the hospitals and the primary healthcare in Ebonyi State should be applauded. They should also be used as an example to other primary healthcares and hospitals in Nigeria, because it's one thing for you to receive help, it's another thing for you to learn from those people who brought help to you, and also be so good enough that they are confident that when we leave this place is not going to go down. When we leave this place, there's not going to be another outbreak of Lassa fever in your state. So this is beautiful. This is applaudable, and this is honestly beautiful for me. Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing to see the work that's done by MSF there in Ebonyi, and it's really great. It's one of those things that we want to see more. Public and private partnership, collaboration, and the goal is very simple: just to ensure that no one is left behind. That's the mission that we are on here, and it's wonderful to see that MSF has done their very best in under 7 years for Ebonyi. But it shouldn't just stop there. Also, Ebonyi could also partner as well, also collaborate with other public sectors probably around them in their region to also spread the knowledge, because it's there's this saying in the medical world that you learn, you see, you learn, then you teach, and that's how it should be. So after they have learned it now, and they should now go on to now teach people as well on what to do when things like this arise, because pandemics are not always planned for, right? But they come, and then you just have to attack it as they come. So they have the knowledge of how to manage this particular epidemic now, and now they can spread this knowledge across the region so that it doesn't just, because again, it doesn't end with them. It could happen to their next door neighbor. Let's take a look at our verified voices. I think this is from MSF from X right there. This MSF Nigeria. They say after 7 years of support, MSF officially handed over management of Lassa fever care this year to local health authorities in Ebonyi State, Nigeria. MSF built triage and observation areas, distributed PPEs, implemented robust IPC systems, and trained staff to manage Lassa cases. And I think that's very important. It's a wonderful work. Just like you said, it's worthy of an applaud. And I mean, the accolades should be given to them just as should. But again, my own take home from this is that Ebonyi shouldn't just stop there, but rather they should also probably send some of their staff to training sessions to states around them so that the knowledge is spread. And so also spreading, in terms of spreading knowledge, you also retain more knowledge to your own self.
Indeed, just a lack of time, we'll have to end it there, but thank you so much. It's been a great one analyzing this progress and reports with you. But that's our round off today. Do join us next time on Hude Progress Report. Bye for now. I am Amadine Ogbewe.
And I'm Hannah Mokafe Dennis. Have a wonderful day.
And I'm Paul Oladipo. Thanks for watching.